mess it up.
Test 1 2, test 1 2.
Check.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.
Are you a sex offender?
No, dude, I don't know why you would start the show off asking us that. We're just the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve Olabrewski.
By the end of the show, it's possible that any one of us could be a sex offender. You just don't know what happens on the show.
I don't know that we would be a sex offender during the show. We may come off as a sex offender, but if it is, it's not true.
You're right. A jury of our peers can't convict us that quickly.
That's exactly right. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you do like it when I welcome you, correct?
We do. I may murder someone by the end of the show or just die of heat asphyxiation myself. So.
Yeah, Steve is feeling extra hot today as we have temperatures on the rise. What is global warming anyway?
Yeah, right. What does a few degrees make a big difference, right? Who cares?
See us on our webpage, thevocalminority.net. See our socials there. You can communicate with the show. Go ahead, Brisky.
I was going to say, speaking of a few extra degrees, it was a few extra degrees warm in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia yesterday. Did you happen to see what the temperature got up around noon yesterday?
No, let me make a guess, though. I know Vegas was going for a record of 117, so I'll say 120 at wherever you're talking about.
I'm gonna say 127.
Ooh,
Add 32 degrees to Steve Soto.
no way. 150 something?
Yes.
How was that even possible? Wow.
Yeah.
Don't
feel
you?
so bad.
Do you die if you go outside? I mean,
certainly your tires are melting on the road. How could you? I mean, that's insanity.
But
Yeah.
that's right in the sun. If you're in a spot where it hits, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
not like
sure.
the temperature you feel walking around.
Google, what's the record for Death Valley, California? Because I've never heard of them getting anywhere near 150, unless
I thought I saw a story for it today. So
yeah,
you got a
that's
story for
crazy.
Death Valley?
no, Riyadh.
Oh, Riyadh, yeah. But see if you can Google what's the record of Death Valley. I want to say it was like 130, maybe, but
That's crazy, dude.
again, these are insane temperatures.
What's the hottest temperature you've ever been in, Harness? I mean, outside ambient temperature.
I know I was in Sacramento one day, 2 or 3. No, I don't know. COVID's a void. It was before COVID, so several years ago. It was 112 outside. I remember that being comically hot.
Yeah.
Like we were going through Sacramento, rolled down the windows as a novelty, and it just blindsides you, this wall of heat.
Rachel and I spent a week in Arizona just hanging out, and it was like, I think it was, if I remember correctly, like 115, 116.
Yes.
Yeah, I got up to like 117 when I was in Mesquite, Nevada one time with my sister and my dad.
Ugh. What were you doing in Mesquite, dude?
Oh, my dad wanted to check out this town. They have a great golf course. He thought about possibly retiring there. It's a nice little town. It's north of Vegas, probably about an hour north.
Middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and by the way, the answer to your question, Steve,
Yes.
134 in Death Valley in 1913, followed by 131 in Tunisia in 1931.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's freaking hot all over this country right now, and some areas worse than others, obviously, but it's pretty much hot everywhere. And here in Lake Tahoe, we peaked into the early 90s, low 90s.
to the show.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we peaked in the low 90s up here, which is insane because not only is that hot, but we're closer to the sun than. And I know that doesn't sound like it would make a big difference, but when you're 6,000 feet closer to the sun, trust me, it does.
You can feel it. You can really feel it. That's what they say. You know, I've been to different destinations just around the world, and they say, oh, this is a different heat. This is a different heat. You're closer here. And
Right,
humidity makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, humidity's miserable. The whole dry heat thing it still sucks, but I will contend it's better than a hot, humid Michigan summer day where you're just dripping with humidity. So.
Yeah.
So last night here, I was driving. It was pouring rain, but it was 96 degrees.
I love that, dude.
No,
I love
no.
that.
Wait, but
humidity.
probably exactly.
Oh.
It's so humid, Nick. As soon as I got out of my car, to open a trunk for someone to put their luggage in.
Yeah.
You just walk into a wall of humidity.
Just need to feel like you just got out of the shower.
Yeah.
My dad's living in the Phoenix area nowadays, and they, I think, hit 115. And I saw in the news the overnight low was 92.
That's why I was talking to Harness this morning, and we went. Rachel and I went camping over the weekend, and it was it fluctuated by 92, and then. Not exactly sure, but my truck thermometer at one point said 100 degrees, so it was warm. And then I got back to Seattle today. We're having a cool day. I think it's like 71 degrees right now. It's a nice day to have a little cool off.
Yeah. I normally don't go to the actual radio station to work. I mean, I do more than I'd like to, but I got a home studio here, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube. But I went to the radio station today on purpose because we have air conditioning there.
Yeah.
And at one point, I was actually like, it's a little chilly in here. This is awesome.
Yeah. You know what, dude? This is a big thing for old people. And I don't want to sound like an ageist, but it just is a big thing for old people because they suffer in the heat a lot of the time. Yeah. You go to the mall. Yeah, are you aware of that? Like people just go to the mall when it's real hot outside.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so here during the winter,
there's
a mall nearby here, and old folks used to go there and do laps in the mall, and they actually have on poles in the mall. They have markers so that you can keep track of how many times you've walked.
Get your exercise.
Yeah, because you can't walk around because it's all snow outside, and not everybody shovels their sidewalks and all that sort of thing. So they drive to the mall, they loiter in the food court for a little while, have a coffee maybe, and then they go walking around for about an hour or so.
Right.
And what kind of neighbor are you? Do you, if you're clearing your patio with snow, do you clear your neighbor's patio, or you just remain to yourself?
It depends on the neighbor.
If it's an oldie.
No, because because some of my neighbors, they take care of their own also, and the other thing too is I'm going to admit to something here that's probably not going to make me look good, but my sister and I actually pay for someone to clear our driveway. There's a guy that owns a landscaping company on the next street over.
That doesn't make you look bad. Don't worry.
Okay.
And by the way, same thing with the old folks, Nick. Like survival of the fittest. If you don't know you live in a winter area, like either get your grandson or hire someone to do it, like Brewski and his sister.
What if they can't, dude? I mean, hey, this is what I'm big on. Okay,
and you're not living in my neighborhood if you can't afford a snowblower or something.
Well,
but if you're 80 and you can't do the snowblower, you don't just if you're right next door, you don't just make sure they can get out.
No.
Wow.
When my dad,
where does that end? Should I go over the entire community, just doing everyone who's too old or lazy to do
just your neighbor? It's not a lazy factor. Just your neighbor. When it's real hot out, like it is for you today, if you have a senior citizen in your neighborhood, you won't go check on them, make sure they're all right.
Yeah, I'll go dump some ice on them. What do you want me to do?
I want you to make sure. Hey, you got everything? Do you have everything you need? Like, are you doing all right?
Can't have them dying in my house. It's no cooler here, so. No, survival of the fittest. If my grandma lives next door, sure. Your grandma, no.
Even my grandma or Brewski's grandma, you're not checking on?
If it's specifically yours, maybe. But I'm just saying, if it's someone else's grandma, that's on you. So,
wow.
So my dad and my mother used to. I'd come home from work, and if they were still shoveling, my mother would say, don't take your coat off or anything. We need you to go help Dad shovel this person and that person, or use a snow blower. And
I need mine inherited sooner than later. Let them shovel themselves.
Well, so I didn't mind doing a couple people because they were older folks that my parents were friends with. But
right.
We had these neighbors who lived across the street from us who had 2 teenage sons who refused to leave the house and shovel. Like their old man who was going through cancer treatments, and he wasn't even that old. But he's going through chemotherapy and looking awful. And he's out there shoveling, and his 2 lazy kids are inside the house playing video games.
That's ridiculous. But you got to let that work itself out. You can't go step in for these little brats.
No, you have permission at that point to not clear the sidewalk for them, but to go over and tell those kids, hey, you asshat, get up.
Right. I'll agree.
Yeah, exactly.
That, so. But it's fun.
Here's a quick story for you. So we got my dad this wonderful snowblower for Christmas one year, and it's awesome. Like you touch the controls to it, and the thing takes off on you. It's that powerful.
Sure.
Right.
So we still had the old snowblower around, and my dad decided that we were going to use 2 snowblowers and get everything done, except the drive screw on the old snowblower broke, but the auger still moved. So in other words, it could still pull snow in and shoot it out.
But you had to push it.
Yeah, exactly. And he gave me that one, and he's just like, use this snow. Like, Dad, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
I'm not
and
doing
people
this.
think snowblowers are just you press a button and you just casually walk behind those things. Even mine has, an auto drive, but you still are muscling that thing and moving
Oh,
around.
sure, dude.
You gotta, I mean, it's not effortless, but this is making me long for the days of my 30 feet of snow that we had here this past winter. Let me ask you a question: would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Too cold.
Too hot.
Too cold for me. Because why, Brewski? What's your?
Because I can throw a blanket on, or I can throw a coat on.
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't realize into the equation that we could change our temperature. Like, I mean, would you rather be trapped too cold or trapped too hot?
Oh,
Can't change your situation.
that's good, debatable, I guess. I mean, it depends how hot is, but no, I just mean in general. Like if you're cold, like Brewski's saying, there's easy remedies to warm up. But when you're hot, there's a short list of things that can cool you off. It's pretty much AC and water. And
Yeah,
like, I got
100%.
fans going on me right now, but blowing hot air on myself is not helping the situation much.
It was crazy, dude, when we were camping this weekend that, 93, 94 degrees outside. You sit there and you're doing something in the sun. We went and played disc golf for a while. It got hot. We only played 9 holes because we were so hot. I was just drenched with sweat.
Yeah.
But you go into the trailer where the air is on, and it was 74 degrees in the trailer, which felt so super cool, dude. It was so funny that 74 in the winter, I'm toasty.
Right.
74 in the heat, I'm cool, dude.
It's all relative for sure. So, yes.
For sure.
Well, let's get into some news because I can start us off with a topic.
Can I just throw one last thing in?
Sure.
What did one snowman say to the other snowman?
It's a nice set of balls you got there.
No, pull your pants down. A snowblower's coming.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I need to know!
He needs to know, and he needs to know now.
Before we meet, there's some news you need to know about.
I need to know now.
Needed to know.
Need to know.
I need some news. I need some news.
The news needs to come from me.
The news has come.
Best news I've heard all day.
Okay, everybody, time to shut up and listen. This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
News. Steve Harness.
Yeah. I like that. That's good. Hey, everyone, shut up. We got news you need to know.
This is Need to Know News. We're not making it up.
Right. All right. So, yeah, on this topic, I got an interesting article here. What not to eat when it's hot outside. This has got a list of do's and don'ts, and they may not all make sense, actually.
That's a good one, dude.
Yeah.
Right. So since our country is sweltering, and some of us understand it's climate change related, and some of us just think it's weather or whatever, but there was some weatherman in Iowa that, pointed out on his weather forecast on the local news that this is all related to climate change. And guess what? He got inundated with hate emails and, just science deniers. It's hilarious. Even the weatherman is now politicized. So
It's cyclical.
it's
Well,
right.
and you would think though that being an agricultural state, that the people in Iowa would be a little more tuned to science and that sort of thing because it's their livelihood.
You would think. But that would require thinking. So,
Yeah.
all right. So here's some do's and don'ts on what to consume in this sort of weather we're all dealing with here. First of all, do not eat big, heavy meals. Digestion creates heat. Did you know that?
I did know that.
I did not know that.
Thank you.
Nick's so smart. Instead, it says experts recommend eating lighter meals more frequently throughout the day and try to include hydrating foods like cucumbers and watermelons.
Yeah.
Lots of
Zucchini.
hydration.
Yeah.
And I've been eating some watermelon this week, so that's good. I'm doing that correct. Now, Nick and I pointed this out before, both big coffee fans. I'm sitting here today in my 100-degree studio with a piping hot cup of coffee because that's just what I do.
Yeah, as am I. This is, I'm trying an espresso direct from Italy today. I'm really enjoying what I got going on here.
Very nice, very nice. So it says, we'll get into hot or cold things here in a moment, but it says don't consume too much caffeine. Drinks with large amounts of caffeine, such as energy drinks, or I would assume coffee, can be dehydrating because they make you urinate more. That's true.
That's interesting.
Depends on the amount of caffeine in them. For instance, the amount of caffeine in a cup of coffee is not that much in a cup of coffee. Now, Nick and I do triple quad shots and all that stuff, so maybe it's a little more, but...
About 2,000, I think we discovered last week. 500 L's or whatever it is.
2,000 would be a lot. 200, you're talking.
Oh, 200, yeah. So 200 in one cup of coffee. So we're doing, I'm doing 8.
Yeah, yep. So we're heavily caffeinated, but urinating more often, I can do that. I got some water here too, so.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're doing though too, because if you're driving like I do, you're looking for bathrooms all the time or dark corners to pee in.
Yes.
Brewski, just quickly, how come you have not invested the $10 or whatever in one of those urinals that they use in the old folks' homes, you know?
Just in case you're talking about?
Huh?
But then
you want him peeing in the car? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, dude. So he doesn't have to stop all the time?
No, it's okay because I mean I'm one of those people that can hold it if I need to.
It's bad for you.
I get that. But I eventually find a place to go, you know.
All right. You need to stretch your legs.
I'm not doing trucker lemonade or anything like that.
Okay.
I've only had to do that once in my life. I was stuck in a traffic jam and I had a bottle of something with me, you know, Gatorade. I had to dump it out the window and pee in the car.
Full transparency, I pee in the car maybe 4 to 5 times a year. You know, you know what? Sometimes, dude, if I am at going to the supermarket or whatever, and I really got to take a piss, I'll just pee in a Gatorade bottle before I go in. You're
hilarious.
Don't they have bathrooms in the supermarket?
Right, I was going to say, that's one of my spots. Like, I feel good if I get to my grocery store. They have a nice bathroom.
But here's my problem.
Have a staff that cleans it and everything.
Yeah, grocery store bathrooms are usually pretty good. Right. But my problem is once I've started thinking about peeing, it feels like I've been holding it for 9 hours all of a sudden. So I don't want to dribble on the way into the grocery store. I'll just pee in this Gatorade bottle. And like I said, 4 or 5 times a year, dude. Maybe, once every 2 months.
I was going to say, that's like every other month. So, okay.
That's
interesting. Dottie and I went to a concert a couple months back where it was crowded floor and we were drinking beer and I just did not want to break the seal. I kept just thinking, like, hold it as long as you can.
Oof.
And I was pretty drunk and I didn't realize it that night, but the next morning I got up and peed and just my internals, everything just hurts. From my kidneys down to...
Real bad, dude. It's real bad for you.
It is. I held it too long, obviously. I mean, I hurt for several days after that, so...
Yeah. No, you can't hold your pee like that. So, Brewski, maybe, I don't know, Christmas present coming your way.
I was going to tell you that I have a friend who grew up in Florida, and where she grew up, there was a road that used to have a lot of trucks that drove down it. But
right.
you'd have to walk down there to get to a convenience store.
Oh, the trucker bombs or whatever they're called.
Yeah. You have to watch out because they come flying out the windows.
Oh,
and it's the bottles of trucker lemonade just like raining down like artillery.
Oh yeah, I read a story a few years ago about the people that are on probation or whatever it is that they're required to go out and do community service, clean those things up, and they have to call a hazmat crew when they find a bottle with human urine in it.
They do?
Yes, I mean they're supposed to. Because it's hazardous material. It's a biohazard, you know.
Yeah,
but technically urine is the most sterile fluid in the body, even more sterile than blood.
Yeah, not trucker urine though.
It's got meth and everything in
trucker
it.
Speed.
Yeah.
Right. Yesterday's hooker phlegm and all that. So.
Oh my gosh, dude.
All right, back to the list of things you should or shouldn't eat. Now, you would think, I think it's a classic thing. I've got an ice cream shop down the road here that's really popular. There was a line out the door yesterday. So ice cream would be a good thing to eat in a heat wave, right?
No, yeah. I think your body has to heat up to melt that ice cream.
That's interesting. Nick is on a frickin' roll today.
Wow.
You would think ice-cold foods and drinks are the solution, but cooling down on a hot day with ice cream, popsicles, or any icy drink might give you temporary relief. However, it's not like you can be out in the hot sun and humidity and just eat cold foods and be okay. Consuming a lot of cold foods or drinks in a single day could lower your core temperature, so your body will respond by trying to heat itself back up.
Oof, it's bad, dude.
Isn't that interesting? Temporary relief, and then your body's like, oh, I just got cold. Let me kick out twice as much heat.
That's what your body is doing. When you get brain freeze, like your body's reacting to warm yourself up right away.
Right.
Yeah, but to tell me, I love an Otter Pop on a summer day.
Sure.
Well, I'm not saying I won't do it, but I mean, if you're dying in a desert of heat and someone drives by the ice cream man, don't do it.
Yeah. That's good survival advice.
He's the ice cream man. Stop him as we pass him by.
That's right.
All of his
not
flavors
like
are sure to guarantee to satisfy.
It also says most ice cream contains dairy, which can be difficult for people to digest, which goes back to the first point of digestion actually causes more heat within your body.
That's a fact.
So there you go. It would be better to use a cold compress on the back of your neck rather than to try to ice yourself from the inside out, which I will tell you, the other night, Dottie and I spent the last several nights together, and the last 2 here in my house, which were miserable from the heat, and our bedroom's upstairs here. So the first night I was whining, and she was like, do you want me to like get you an ice compress or something? And I'm like, no. I'll suffer. I'll be fine.
You're a man.
Right. Second night, I'm complaining. She's like, I'll be right back. She went and got an ice pack out of my freezer and put it on my chest.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I mean, within like a minute or two, I was perfectly calm and cool. Like, it totally worked.
Dottie is learning. She can't ask you. She just has to do it, okay?
Yes. Well, and I saw a story in the news this morning about nurses all over the country issuing, doing ice baths for people coming in who are overheated. So Nurse Dottie knew what to do. And yeah, I was actually going to grab one for the show, but maybe as we get into the second segment, I'm going to go grab one and stick it in my crotch or something.
It's a good idea.
Oh,
It did help. It really did help. So
MS is exasperated by a lot of heat like that, and some people with MS have more issues than others, but I would say that with heat, I have mild issues at this point. They used to be a lot worse, but for that, they make these three things. The first thing I bought was actually from Brookstone, and I don't even know if they're around anymore. But it was this. It basically looked like a beret that a young girl would wear, or the bandana thing on their head.
Yeah.
And it went around your neck, and it had batteries in it, and it had a water tank, and then little fans that would blow that around your neck to help keep you cool.
Nice.
Then there's
like what my dirt bike has, like a cooling system. It flushes cool water around.
Exactly. Yeah. Then my doctor at one point was like, "Oh, you should get a cooling vest." And I was like, "Oh, what's a cooling vest?" It's basically a vest that has this stuff inside of it that keeps you very cool. So if you wear it all the time, you can't feel the heat.
Interesting.
You should listen to Dottie. You can cool yourself down by ice, like you said.
Nice. You know how you pull quotes of things I say on the show? She'll pull that quote right there. You should listen to Dottie.
Right. You should. You got to listen to Dottie. She's a nurse, dude, or soon to be.
Yes, exactly. Bruce,
well, speaking of the cooling vest, so back when I was selling for a hot AC station in Seattle,
which is a radio format, not a terrible air conditioning system. That'd be terrible.
So anyway, I didn't want to name check the station, but the national sales manager offered to pay me a couple $100 if I would go to this appearance that he sold at a strawberry festival in Bellevue and wear a mascot costume.
A mascot costume?
Yes, it was during the summer.
Yeah.
And it was a big pickle costume.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
How'd that go for you?
It actually went okay, because get this, inside the costume, they had a headband that you froze and then that velcroed to your head, and they had a vest that you froze and you put that vest on, and it was probably about, I don't know, probably at least an inch thick, if not a bit thicker. You put that on, put the costume over it, and it kept your body.
It kept you alive. Couldn't have been pleasant, though, right?
No, I had to walk around for like an hour and a half or something like that in this pickle costume.
As a giant pickle. That's
Were you a silent pickle, or did you talk to people in the pickle?
No. I was told I couldn't speak. I only had to wave to people.
That had to be how long were you in there?
About 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that had to be the longest 90 minutes. No communication, hot in a pickle, just walking around. Did you find it degrading?
Wearing the ice vest. No, nobody knew who I was, so I didn't care. And I made like $250 out of it too.
Nice.
That's a real pickle you got yourself into.
That's true, Steve. That's a whole community, by the way. Those mascots, some of them, you look up to. Then you have your lower level mascots that you might find a pickle out at a car show, but you might have the baseball mascots We used to have what was the person for the Sonics, Brewski?
Squatch.
Squatch.
Right? Yeah.
Squatch was huge, dude. People love Squatch.
I knew a guy that did. I don't remember. Was it the Seahawks or the Mariners? But he went around in some, mascot costume, and he
The
told
Mariners have the Mariner Moose.
me maybe that's what it was. He was telling me because he came over to the radio station, was talking to us all. We were doing an event there. He said that not only does he get constantly molested wearing that thing, people are constantly grabbing his crotch and his butt and all that.
Over.
Yes, but the people go up and punch him. That they think it's just like a giant stuffed animal, so they just punch him in the face and knock him around.
It's not an easy life as a mascot, or especially a professional mascot. I'm getting into seeing mascots fight. I love to see a mascot attack a fan. Have you seen it?
Yes.
I love it.
I wonder, some of those are staged, I think, but yeah, some seem pretty real.
Yes.
We, the radio station here at Tahoe is called K-Owl, and we used to have an owl mascot that the H.R. Puffin stuff guy made.
Oh, wow, really?
Right. And he made a lot of the Disney costumes.
That's Marty Krofft, Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yeah. This costume would apparently be worth like tens of thousands nowadays.
Wow.
But
Where is it?
Well,
you don't have it?
No. Somewhere in the late 80s, an intern got heat stroke inside of it and puked all over the inside of it, and no one ever cleaned it up, and it just got wrecked.
Oh, that's terrible.
It is. But again, it goes to that point of like how miserable it is to be inside. And this intern wouldn't take his hat, the head off, and puked inside the costume.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's fun stuff.
I once had to dress as Stimpy for when I was in broadcasting school. I got paid. The placement office said, "Hey, listen, we've got this cable conference going on down the street at a convention center. Can you dress up as a costume character?" And I had to dress up as Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy.
I had no idea your vast resume of mascot experience.
Listen, I was Santa Claus for a while at the mall and at Toys R Us, and I'll tell you what, I got so many times with women, the one at the mall in particular, because it was right by this bar in the mall, and all the women come out on a Friday and Saturday night drunk. Yeah. I would have sit on Santa's lap and grabbing a hold of me and everything. Sometimes it was cool. Other times when it's like some grandma and it's not hot granny sex time, it was awful.
Well, did anyone ever touch your penis?
Yeah, several times.
Wow.
And not just children. Even if I don't take it out and play with it, I still like seeing it. So that is not me. I mean, it's me, but it's not me. All right, moving on here. Things to do and don't eat on hot days like this. You should eat fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Fruit and Vegetable Foundation of America. Food can be a major source of hydration, and unlike processed foods, which typically don't contain much or any water and can be harder to digest, many fruits and vegetables are full of water and nutrition. We mentioned cucumbers and watermelon, also berries, tomatoes, celery, and bell peppers have a lot of hydration in there.
Yeah.
So eat up on that. Hydrate properly, plain water, try to avoid caffeine drinks, experts say. So water is, of course, the key thing. And it's the last point here. Think about balance. Avoid making drastic changes to your diet during heat waves. So this is not the time to start a brand new diet.
Perfect.
Keep consistent, but tilt towards what we're saying. So, yes, use that as a good excuse out there.
Right. Rest of the summer, dude. I got to take this summer off. It's too hot.
What about booze?
Yeah, it does not have booze on the list specifically. So that's, I would say have at it then. It's not on there, so drink up, everybody.
You can cheat these a little, but now you know.
Get over here, Nick.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special.
Here is a news bulletin.
We interrupt this program to bring you
the humanity and all the things.
A date which will live in infamy. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
News you need to know.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Poor bastard. Let's talk about the QAnon shaman, as he's been out of the news for a bit. Yeah? You don't know who he is, right? The guy who was dressed up as a shaman. Yeah, the insurrectionist. That's a good way to describe him.
The moose head, whatever wolf head thing he was.
It was a bison, I believe, yeah.
Oh, a bison.
That's offensive to Brewski Bison over there. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Show us your bison, dude. Show us your bison quickly. On your, I want to see your bison. Yeah.
Bison tat.
Yeah. They call him Bison, we call him Brewski.
Bison Brewski, yes, sir.
QAnon shaman pled guilty and made a heartfelt apology in the January 6 case. Has changed his mind and wants his plea reversed.
Oh,
do you remember? Do you remember the apology? I've got it here. We could go over part of it quickly.
No, I don't. No, go for it.
I deeply regret and am very sorry I entered into the Capitol building on January 6, 2021. I should have not been there. Period.
Interesting. This sounds like what I've said about a lot of ex-girlfriends. I'm sorry I ever entered. I deeply regret it now.
I should not have been there. Period.
Period. Yeah.
I'm sorry for having aroused fear in the hearts of others. That was wrong. Period.
He said aroused.
I know. That's a weird word to use in that context, but okay.
And also, he keeps saying period on this. I'm not talking about punctuation. I'm sorry for having aroused fear in the hearts of others. That was wrong. Period. That's the third period.
He's not doing sending a telegram or something like that.
No, it's not. This is not that.
He's letting you know he's not pregnant. Period.
Period. I've got it. Things are flowing. I'm deeply disappointed in former President Trump. He was not honorable. He let a lot of us peaceful people down. I have to leave judging him up to other people now as I walk away. Please be patient with me. Right? Yeah. He says, please be patient and peaceful with other people who are like me. We're not all bad.
Right. It's like the Special Olympics or something for that Insurrection Day. Like, you got to remember, these people are not all there.
Yeah, no. These people are crazy. I think when they originally took this shaman to jail, I don't know if you guys heard or remember, but his mother... who must be just as crazy as he is, went to the jail and was like, you need to be feeding him better. He's a vegetarian.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
He's crazy.
Yeah. Maybe don't break the law next time. You don't have to worry about prison food.
Well,
yes.
I hope they told him no backsies. He wants to take his plea back. No backsies, dude. No.
Yeah, no. I mean, that is a contract you sign that you don't get back, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now what's going on with him?
He's come out and said that, like, now that Trump's up in the polls, which it pains me to say that he wants to return to court, get his other deal, get the plea deal reversed, rather. And then he wants to go in full support of President Trump once again and thinks it's the only thing that could save this country. So, I mean, we're right back where we started, dude.
Well, then he can go and serve the rest of the time that he didn't serve that he got on the plea deal. No taking it back and then you walking away.
Well, what he's really saying is he thinks Trump's going to win next year, so he thinks he'll get pardoned, so therefore I'm going to go all in, make a spectacle, Trump will have my back.
Didn't even think about it, dude. You may be 100% right.
Yes. Well, he's already dangled that before, Trump has, of pardoning the insurrectionists, which is ridiculous, obviously.
So here's something that is kind of related to this. Did you notice, by the way, over the weekend that on Truth Social, Trump actually posted a post about being charged under the Insurrection Act?
No.
Okay.
What was that about? And what do you?
But here's the thing, though. He actually posted that and then retracted it and changed it to the Espionage Act. So the question remains: has he been told that he's going to get charged under the Insurrection Act in D.C. by Jack Smith? And if that's the case, and if he's convicted, then under the 14th Amendment, he would be disqualified from running for president going forward.
Well, that's certainly what we're all hoping for. I know he's trying to delay all this till after the election, but I'm hoping.
But that's down. I'm talking about the D.C. charges, which haven't come out yet. But Bonnie Willis is actually going to announce her charges by July 31st.
Right.
And
that's
the feds.
So I know there's other charges coming, and I hope they come quickly, and I hope none of them can be delayed. And it's a preposterous notion that we would push a criminal trial past an election where if somebody wins, they could pardon themselves, or I mean, it's absurd. We should be fast tracking this, not slowballing it. But
well, and the other thing too, though, is that the feds always like to make sure that their charges kind of get the marquee.
As it should. So let's get the show started already.
So I think that's why you're going to see Jack Smith announce those charges in D.C. before July 31st.
I love you, Jack.
Before Fonnie Willis announces hers down in Georgia.
Yeah, well, let's get to it, people. Come on.
Shaman continues to say, and this just shows you, do you believe him or not? In closing, he says, I never, ever said I was duped by Trump. I never denounced Q or QAnon's community, and I'm not a schizophrenic, bipolar, depressed, or delusional. These are all the things I am not.
Yeah. That remains to be seen.
Ask him 10 minutes later, see if his answer's the same. Then we'll figure out.
Right, dude. Come on.
Yeah, good luck to all of them. I just want to see them all rot for as long as possible. And my mom is freaking out about the possibility of Trump winning. And he didn't win last time. There's no way he's got more votes this time. There's just no way.
Yeah. Let's hope. Let's hope and pray, dude. I felt confident when he got elected the first time. I was like, no way.
I hear you. And I have the same PTSD flashbacks to me thinking that wouldn't happen. But that was when he was a new toy. Let's elect an outsider and a businessman. Like, all that garbage that we all now know is just ridiculous, that he's a terrible businessman. He's no longer an outsider by any definition. So I don't know.
Well, you see what happens.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Hello, Americans. This is Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Me?
Wow.
Who's up?
Bruce.
Well, so now, to stay on the whole thing with Donald Trump, a story came out in the New York Times today where it says Donald J. Trump and his allies are planning a sweeping expansion of presidential power over the machinery of government if voters return him to the White House, reshaping the structure of the executive branch to concentrate far greater authority directly in his hands.
Right. Like an authoritarian, a dictator would do. Yeah.
Exactly. He plans on doing everything from firing people in the DOJ and the FBI who we think weren't loyal to him.
It would almost be worth it to let him be reelected, let him make all these changes. He's only got one term left. And then we appoint, I don't know, like Bernie Sanders or Howard Stern. Like, let's just nominate some left-wing nut job that will get in there and take all those same powers and do everything conservatives would not want done with it. Blow out the Second Amendment. Legalize everything.
It'd be fantastic. But what makes this United States of America, dude,
Right.
that we can have these two branches?
We can't have the pendulum swinging this far left and right anymore. So, go ahead, Brewski. What else you got?
So under the unitary executive plan, and this is something that actually was hatched, not surprisingly, by people in the Reagan administration, that basically consolidates power into the executive branch, and it actually kind of nullifies the other branches, the legislative and the judicial branches.
We don't need three equal branches, do we?
No.
That's not part of the premise of our country.
So it says that he intends to strip employment protections from tens of thousands of career civil servants, making it easier to replace them if they are deemed obstacles to his agenda.
Ugh. I mean, seriously, this is a Putin, Chairman Mao sort of thing.
Well, you know what this is too is this is a Steve Bannon thing, because Steve Bannon has talked about this whole thing where they go in and they destroy what they call the legislative state.
Part of the deep state, right?
It's amazing. Unbelievable. Not surprising at all.
And again,
this is the first time, dude. I mean, we've been saying this for a long time, right? That, he's got dictator qualities. He loves dictators. He has a copy of Mein Kampf on his bedside table. I mean, we know he loves dictators, but this is the first time where he is like laying it all down on the table that this is what I would do. So it's even a little more scary. Some of it was assumption.
Yeah.
No longer.
No, he's making it known that these are the plans here.
Yes.
If Biden was suggesting these things for his second term, I mean, the right wing would just be...
It'd be a civil war. I mean, a war would start, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't be wrong. Like, no one should be suggesting these things. It is the complete antithesis of what America is supposed to be. Three equal branches so that no one of them can run roughshod over the others. I mean,
Yeah.
You can't claim to be a patriot and want to consolidate power in one branch government.
It's crazy.
Well,
I mean, it's scary.
These are the plans, and as a matter of fact, he even wants to be able to reject what Congress wants to spend money on and be able to withhold the money and spend it where he wants to spend it.
Yeah, dude, this sounds more and more like he learned a little from the Rocket Man. Who's the guy?
Elton John?
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un, yeah.
Oh, that guy.
I mean, he learned a thing or two while he was there being friendly.
I don't think it's any coincidence that he is buddied up to people, like South or North Korea, Russia, China. Like, he likes these kinds of people.
He had two things that he said, this is just a requirement, that I will sign in. I want to be able to grow just about a 1/4-inch mustache under my nose, and I would like to start riding horses shirtless. These are requirements, okay?
Yep, he's about one step away from it.
Yeah.
Thank God he doesn't want to ride horses pantless, because we all know he poops himself. That poor horse.
God, dude, did you watch that, Brewski, what I sent you?
Yes, from No Castler, yes.
Do you believe all of that? I do.
Well, tell the audience what you're referring to.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is a video. We've talked about it before on the podcast, but this guy used to work for The Apprentice. And goes on a binge of talking. Not only does he do so much cocaine and stuff that now he doesn't have control over his pals. Right. He poops himself whenever he gets nervous or angry, right. Which seems like that'd be a lot of the time for both of those things.
Yes, Mr. All Caps, angry a lot.
Right, and people there was a guy on the show that had a job that had to clean him up after he pooped his pants. Like, that's crazy.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks for not being pantsless on a horse, dude. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah, because it didn't he also say that they referred to it as the shit show?
Yeah, I think that they. I mean, that's
that may be for other reasons too, but yeah.
But kind of for both reasons.
They
would have to actually stop filming to attend to these things.
Yeah.
And then resume filming like nothing happened.
Yeah, good stuff.
How can he walk around with the confidence he appears to have, knowing that he poops his pants?
Have you not seen the Depends commercials? They give you confidence, Nick, to be a proud senior citizen out there playing.
And what about the bit from SNL about oops, I crap my pants.
Right? Yeah.
They give you the confidence to walk around all day long. Yeah. And they say, how do you feel so confident when you could poop your pants? I just did a few minutes ago, and you couldn't tell.
Good question, dude. It's a good question.
Where's Nick?
All right here, dude. We'll stop talking about you now, good sir.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this.
We interrupt our program to bring you a special. Here is a news bulletin. We interrupt this program to bring you
the humanity and all that.
A date which will live in infamy. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Need to know news. News you need to know.
Right.
Testing.
Here we go. All right, I do feel this is need to know news because it is the peak of summer. We're all at the beaches and the pools and all that kind of stuff. And I encountered this on Sunday here in Lake Tahoe, and it was quite shocking and disturbing to me. So I'm not surprised. CNN has an article, starts off the headline, Beachgoers Beware. Now, this is not about the increase in shark sightings, which is a real thing.
Pooping on the beach?
This is not about pooping on the beach. This is not about toxic waste on the beach, but it's about something else pretty damn toxic on the beach.
Oh, boy.
Masculinity.
Well, you're in the right ballpark there. After decades of banishment from mainstream wardrobes, one of fashion's most divisive garments, the men's Speedo, is officially back in fashion globally.
Really?
Yes, here in America.
Congratulations.
Beware.
You love the banana hammock, Brewski?
I do. It's quite comfortable, actually.
Is this a personal recommendation? Like, you like wearing a Speedo?
When I'm feeling sassy, I kind of like to, pop on the old Speedo and, strut around a little bit,
What the hell are we talking about? Are you making a joke right now? You wear a Speedo at the pool or the beach?
Sometimes out in my yard.
Tremendous play by Brewski.
That is fantastic, dude. Why? First of all.
Well, yeah, I mean, it goes back to the whole confidence thing. You got to feel good about yourself,
Sure, yeah.
And besides that, sun's out, buns out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I'm pretty pale. If you want to see, I can show them.
No, that's all right.
That is fantastic, dude.
Yeah, I was at the beach yesterday, and the dude set up next to us was wearing a freaking Speedo. And I just kept glancing over in a car wreck sort of way of I don't want to look at this dead body on the side of the road, but what are you doing, dude?
How old was he?
40s, right around our age, and the balls and butt cheeks hanging out in the back, and just
was he a muscular dude?
No, he was kind of. I mean, he wasn't overweight, but he wasn't muscular. He was just scrawny, and I did detect a slight accent, like maybe Russian or Eastern European. And I thought,
that makes sense.
I thought, yeah, maybe this is just a European thing. But then I see this headline today saying that no, this is back in men's summer fashion, the Speedo at the beach or the pool. So, yeah, beware. Just beware. I'd rather say
anybody doesn't know, God calls it an abomination. It's an abomination.
Brewski. Yeah, we thank you for wearing yours in your backyard. I mean, that's responsible Speedo ownership.
Hey, listen to this. In Europe, sales of Speedos are up over 200% this summer. In America, up over 50%, which is still disturbing. So,
smuggling grapes.
Yeah. Do you wear it on a beach? Or at a hotel swimming pool? I don't know why I said pole. That was a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Well, if the mood strikes, and I just decide I'm going to wear it, I'm go swimming in the. Usually it's at a pond.
Wow, interesting.
At a pond? You get all sexied up for a pond?
On Speedo Pond.
Well, yeah, but sometimes the salt water, I burn more in the salt water than I do the fresh water, and as you can tell, I'm pretty pasty. So
yeah, well, you could go to a full lake next time. We give you permission to go to a full size lake next time.
Expand yourself, man.
Yes, we need people to see you, dude.
Interesting. I did debut my. Go ahead. What?
I will say that when my family and we had gone to Lake George, New York a few times as a teenager.
Yeah.
And up in Lake George, they get a lot of the Quebecois folks coming across the border.
What is that?
French?
French Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Quebecois. And
did he just swear? Do I have to edit that?
No,
I don't think so.
No, I didn't swear.
All right.
And so that's what they refer to a lot of the folks there, or the language that they speak. That's kind of a mixture of Spanish and English, like Spanish and English or Spanglish.
Yeah.
Quebecois is that language that they speak.
French Canadian.
Yeah.
Right.
But the dudes.
Will you please say the word again as sexy as you possibly can? Everybody be quiet for Brewski.
Quebecois.
Okay.
Quebecois. So anyway, you'd see all the dads, the grandfathers, all scraggly skin hanging off and everything, and they're all wearing Speedos and everything. And the worst part about it is they get out of the pool and they dry themselves off, and then they would literally reach down with a towel, pull the Speedo aside, and put the towel inside, drying their package right there.
See, that's what I think of when I think of a Speedo. I think of inappropriate behavior and boundaries crossed altogether. I think you're more respectful than that.
And the pubes sticking out the sides, like big black tufts of hair,
Why has Brewski made me throw up on the last two shows in my mouth?
I will tell you the worst Speedo I've ever seen.
Yeah. On
a beach in Cape May, New Jersey. This was 1987. I was 16 years old. And this dude had to be easily 3 1/4, maybe 3.5 bills.
Nice.
Right? Big dude.
I'm surprised you could see the Speedo. It was probably boxers, but they just looked like a Speedo.
No, it was definitely a Speedo. You could tell on his flat ass where it was and everything. But this dude was also covered in black hair down his arms, down his back, down his chest. It was like a man suit, And he had these really thick glasses and a really big mustache. And I can't even make this up. The wife starts talking to him, and his name was Murray.
That sounds right.
Murray, come on. The kids want to get a Knish. Let's go. We got to get on. Come on. And this dude was like covered in hair. But I'll tell you what, though, he was tan like you wouldn't believe. He looked like the biggest piece of beef jerky you ever saw in your life.
Glistening.
Wow.
With the hair on top of it and in his Speedo.
Wow. Well, these are good visuals you brought.
And it was yellow.
Thank you.
It was a yellow Speedo, too.
Wow, dude. All right.
Talk to a therapist about this.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff we told you somebody may end up sounding like a sex offender before the show was over.
And this is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I foresee that creepy old man in a Speedo that you just played, by the way. So.
Welcome to the show.
What? Are you still freaked out by him?
Yes. Yes, I am.
I love that.
Speaking about inappropriate behavior, here in the Seattle area, well, when did the pandemic start? 2020 or 19?
Early 2020. Yeah.
Okay, so our homeless population just, it blew up. 2020. Okay.
Yep.
We've got a huge problem in Seattle, and I would think like all major cities were fighting some things right now. How long can you leave a camper parked on a street, that type of thing? Yeah. Oh, you got to move every 48 hours or whatever, because some of our streets, some of our underpasses, stuff like that, I mean, dude, it is so filthy. I'm all for people. Some people are homeless, dude. They got to figure out what they're going to do. And if you got to sleep in a tent or whatever, go for it. I don't understand, or I guess I don't approve of the mess. I understand it. These are a lot of people that are dealing with mental illness, a lot of people on drugs. Not all, but a lot. And some of these,
you were talking me too, by the way. I don't know.
Right.
Dealing with mental illness, a lot of drugs.
Right. You were talking about pee being a biohazard. I mean, they have to get up into those yellow suits, dude, and go in and clean up some of these areas at times.
Yeah.
Outrage in Seattle has struck again. Neighborhood has homeless population that is fairly large that refuses to clean up, but they feel like they have pushed it a little too far. When this last week, these homeless people set up a huge outdoor swimming pool in their camp.
These guys are living the life. Come on.
Yes. This is freedom at its finest, right?
Just go to Golden Gardens or Green Lake or something.
Right. Yes. Come on. They got people in this swimming pool. They're all sitting in there, and the neighbors are, just looking in awe, like, what the hell is this? So they take it one step further, and they're all standing in the pool. So water like up to belly, just kind of lounging, right? Sure. As these neighbors are peering at them. They all just take out glass pipes and start puffing on fentanyl.
Oh, my God.
Like they're in France drinking champagne. You know what I mean?
This is every Southern barbecue, though. Let's be honest. Come on.
So, but this is the type of thing, dude, when I say our city is trying to change some laws of what you can do, how quickly you could do it, stuff like that.
Right.
But this is going to take time. I mean, as of now, the pool's fine, dude. I mean, they're just on public land, not on a sidewalk or anything, so they got a pool.
Tomato, though,
They have couches around it, by the way.
Yes.
They have what?
Couches. They have like couches and chairs around the area where the pool is.
These guys are doing it right.
Vagabond paradise is what it is.
And in fairness, like when I'm at the beach, I'll sneak my vape pen out and take a hit. Am I really that much different or better than them? Soaking in the pool, taking a hit of my preferred substance,
Yes.
We're splitting hairs a little bit here, so.
Yeah.
And sounds like a nice little encampment.
So this is in Highland Park.
Yeah.
Which is kind of almost like a wooded area.
Yeah.
So is that considered unincorporated King County, not so much Seattle itself?
No, I don't think so.
Are we debating zoning ordinances now in Seattle?
See,
No.
It all comes down to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. I'm fine with them.
All right. So you say live and let live?
Yeah, come to my neighborhood.
I'll tell you what, though. You don't want to swim in that pool after all those folks have been in there.
Well, listen, I was at a water park with 5,000, elementary school age kids. You
Yeah.
don't swim in that pool either after they all been in there. So
You did, though, didn't you?
A little.
Did you swim in that pool, by the way?
Well, of course I did. It's what you do, but that's why there's so many chemicals in the pool. I'm like, put more in. It's fine. Like,
Do you shower after a pool with not rinse? I shower. So
oh, yeah. When I get home at night, I mean, I have to with my sensitive skin and all that. But no, thinking about all the chemicals and human urine all over you, yeah, I shower.
I just found out when you think you have urine all over you. Did you know that when you drink water, no matter where you get it at this point, you're drinking dinosaur urine?
Okay, where are you pulling that fun fact from?
Hey, dude, you want to know
urine.
what? This is.
That's a fact.
Hey, Brewski, look up, is all water dinosaur urine?
So,
Computing. Brewski is computing.
Boston Booyah!
Here is the answer.
You think that I'm making this up?
You think there's just vast reservoirs of still hydrated dinosaur urine? That's what water is?
Hey, dude, how long have you and I been on this planet? Or not you and I, but how long have humans been on this planet?
It's debatable based on my UFO theories, but I'll say a few thousand years.
All right. How long did dinosaurs live on this planet?
I don't know how long, actually.
Millions of years.
Was it? I don't even know that, but okay.
So, scientists have come out and said that there is no possible way that the water that we drink now is not, I mean, it's not 100% dinosaur urine, but it all has dinosaur urine in it.
Well, came out. They were bored Thursday afternoon and announced this.
Cancer remains a problem.
I will say that there is a website called weatherboy.com, and from a story from
already.
A story from June 26, 2021 says you're drinking dinosaur urine today. It says, thanks to weather and the water cycle, you are likely drinking water that has passed through a dinosaur. Thanks to the water cycle that moves water in and through the air and the ground, it is very likely your next sip of water have passed through the mouth of a dinosaur too.
That's the truth.
Clickbait garbage. Of course, it's passed through everything that's in the ground, including fossilized, powderized dinosaurs. It's not dinosaur urine.
Listen, Brewski found that story on the fly.
On weatherboy.com.
Yeah, on the fly, though. He didn't look at a reputable site, and they are out. I'm telling you, I read the studies.
Wait a minute. Well, why are we assuming Weatherboy is not a reputable site?
Well, anyone that ends with boy. Name another person that ends with boy that we look up to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was Boy George.
I'm just saying.
He starts with boy.
Yes. Oh, well. Nick said end with boy. No, I'm just saying. Sure, maybe Weather Boy is a reputable source, but find me an article on a real news site that says we're drinking straight urine. Obviously, it's passed through that and everything else. I mean, I get it, but it's not passing through the bladder of some dead dinosaur. That's a misleading statement you're making.
I don't think so.
You know what? It's not mine. Must be urine.
I didn't think I was going to have to defend that, or I would have come to the show with like actual articles. I thought that at some point in time, after I know a guy for 20 some years, that I could just say something and be like, "That's interesting."
I just accept that on face value, huh?
That's a fact.
Yeah, you should accept it, dude. You think I'd lie to you?
Lie's a strong word, but passing
where
along
are we going?
Passing along anecdotal information that you found interesting that you saw on TikTok or something, that could be happening. Straight up lying to us? No.
You think I do that a lot?
I didn't say a lot. I said I can see it happening where you see some interesting thing and you mentioned it in passing on the show, but then one of us is like, hold on. let's explore that.
I can agree with you that I will pull some of that up, but if I'm going to say it's a fact, I think it's a fact. Okay,
so you think it's a fact.
Please join me until you're able to go do more research. Okay.
Wasn't there a member of the Trump organization that once came up with the whole idea of alternative facts?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You sound like a conservative. Like, I feel it's true, so therefore,
No, dude, I don't feel it's a fact. If I say it's a fact, I've done my research to know that it's a fact.
Oh, boy.
And unless you can show me otherwise, like, come on, dude.
Nick, you're the champion. Take it away.
This is the only news you need to know. After all, this is Need to Know News. News you need to know. Enough said.
See?
Well, I need to share this story. Staying on pools.
Okay.
So, gentlemen, how often do you go into the pool at a hotel?
Every time I'm at a hotel with a pool in it.
Me too.
Okay, what about a pool at a hotel in Las Vegas?
I have been in there. That's another. I was in one where it's just a bunch of adults standing there drinking. Like, I'm just thinking, like, how there's more urine in this pool than there is the kiddie pool.
Dude, this may come as a shock to you, and this is something else. You should just believe until you do your research.
Yeah.
You don't even have, in Vegas, you have to worry about semen in the pool. Like, you do have to worry about it. That's true.
I was there in the afternoon. Is that as big of a risk as going in there at nighttime?
Sure. People are just doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you really have to actually worry about is the levels of illicit drugs in the pool.
That's found in their semen that's in the pool. Yeah.
No, it actually.
Thank you, Steve.
It actually comes out of their pores, people's pores, into the water.
I can see that. They're sweating Molly or Coke or whatever.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
it's a good way to free fire your day. Go stand in the pool. You absorb some random, intoxicants.
Yeah. But you don't know what you're taking. I mean,
ketamine.
Has anyone overdosed by standing in a pool in Vegas?
I don't believe so. No.
All right, then it's.
I mean, I'm always in the pool when I go to Vegas.
Right.
So, Coke, ecstasy.
This is a real thing. Some news organization put out, like, be cautious of how much secondhand narcotics you absorb in pools.
Well,
trace amounts.
Exactly. So this is actually from the I team at KLAS 8 News Now in Las Vegas, and they actually quoting a story that from the College of Southern Nevada about the amount of illicit drugs found in pool water in various hotels in Las Vegas.
I wonder what Weatherboy thinks about that, dude. I haven't seen anything from Weatherboy.
Well, Weatherboy just wants the drugs directly. He doesn't want to have to absorb it in the hotel pool.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting. There's so much stuff in pools that we apparently need to just be worried about. Or just don't. Just enjoy the soak and have your margarita.
Well, I will say that the last time I was in a pool in Las Vegas, I was coming out of the bathroom. And by the way, Steve, this was another one of those times with the wet paper thing in the toilet.
Ass gasket. Oh,
yeah.
God. You went in there all wet and dookied on an ass gasket in the pool in Vegas?
That's all the time we have for today, everybody.
Oh,
no,
man.
So I'm leaving the bathroom, and as I'm leaving the bathroom, there's a sign that says that if you have active diarrhea, that you shouldn't be in the pool. Why do we have to put a sign up that tells people not to do that?
This goes back to
Go ahead.
A debate on the show like years ago. I think before Brewski was on it about whether that was a thing, and we called my dad to get his opinion on whether you can get diarrhea from a hot tub. You remember this?
Yeah, it's a communicable disease, right?
That's a fact.
Disease is a strong word, but yeah.
But I mean, who is going into the pool if they have diarrhea?
Right.
I mean,
and that was the thing, too. You have to squirt in the water. It's not just I had it yesterday.
Squirt, dude. No, it goes on your butt lips, and that is particles are in the water.
That's trace amounts. You need a full deposit if other people are going to get sick off of it. That was the doctor's point. Yeah, you can pass it on, but not just in slight trace amounts. The chlorine will kill all that. But if you've got diarrhea and you squirt it in the pool or the hot tub, other people can get it.
Yeah, you don't think it's a disease?
It's not a disease. I don't know what the right word is.
Is diarrhea a disease?
No, it's the symptom of something.
If you have giardia or something like that, that's different. It's not the diarrhea itself. It's the
right.
It's
a symptom. It's not a disease. Yes,
such a
Dr. Brewski is right.
Well, but my whole point was I was blown away by that when I was going back to the pool and I saw that sign. Like, who doesn't know that? But I guess you have to tell people not to do it.
Well, that's a lawyer thing. Every hot tub rule that's on there somewhere for lawyer reasons.
I just thought it was because somebody actually did it.
Well, listen to me, dude, and I'll take it for what it's worth. If I fly to Vegas and I'm on vacation and I got diarrhea, it's going to slow me down, dude. I'm going in the pool. I'm going in.
Yeah. I've already got it. Screw everyone else, right?
So anyway, so yes, the pools in Vegas, which I will still go into. All the time. I mean, hell, I'll still eat hot dogs and I know what's in those things.
Right.
You know,
You sell them, dude.
Hot dogs here.
You got to support your product. So, yes.
I will still go in the pool, even though the pools in Vegas have a lot of drugs in the water.
Right. Listen, if you don't catch something in Vegas, you're not doing it right. So, whether it's a hot tub, the brothel, whatever it is,
Do it upright.
Right. All right. We got time for a quick story if anyone's got one. Otherwise, we got to wrap this segment up.
Quickly, if we want to stay on topic with water, I can let you know that humans have pumped so much groundwater from the earth that it's actually caused the planet's axis to shift.
What?
Yeah, that's true. You don't believe it? Another thing you're not going to believe?
No, it seems like you're reading it from somewhere, so I'm going to assume. We have pumped so much ground off the axis. That has to be just a fraction of a degree, though. Otherwise, we'd be spinning off into space.
Of course, it's a fraction of a degree, but where does it end, Steve? Where does it end?
And why do we not put more groundwater in? I just read a story about, I didn't think it was that interesting, but it's related, where Chicago is experiencing foundation cracks because it's so hot underneath the soil that the water is either evaporating or whatever it is. It's causing a shift in the foundation of a bunch of communities there. So, yeah, it seems
fascinating, dude. Yeah. Why wouldn't you think that's interesting?
By itself, I didn't, but tied into what you just said, like that all makes sense now.
Well, good. Well, now we know, dude. Stop pumping so much groundwater. I mean, what
are we supposed to do with that?
Don't pump so much groundwater, dude. You can't take more than she can give.
Well, we need more dinosaurs to pee in the ground, apparently. Offset that.
Listen, proof that'll turn your mind around on this will come to the podcast.
All right. I will stay tuned for that.
All right. Well, until next time, that's going to do it for Need to Know News. News you need to know.
Right. I think it's episode 62. So find us on all the podcast sites if you haven't already. Depends where you're watching this. If you found us on the socials, listen to the podcast. If you found us on the podcast, go watch the socials. Booyah.
And we're on Threads now too.
We are on Threads. Too, and no one's done anything with them. So, but they're there. Go find them, someone.
I follow. Bye-bye.
This is Need to Know News. News you need to know.
I need to know.
He needs to know, and he needs to know now.
That's not what you're supposed to play.
Is that the outro? Yes.
Go ahead, Brewski. Say what you were going to say.
You said you're following us on Threads. We have followers, but no one's doing anything with the threads that I sent out this week. So, like it or comment or something. Okay, show me some.
Yeah,
Brewski, come on.
Take two.
And we say bye-bye.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Nick Reynolds, Steve Harness, and Cousin Brewski. The Vocal Minority with Nick and Steve.
Take one.